Hello again everybody, this is John with Fathercraft. Today we are taking a look at the Lollipop Baby Monitor. Alright, if you're just thinking, I just want to hear about how you use that twisty stem looking thing, then go to this timestamp. If you're thinking, Merlin's beard, just tell me about this add-on sensor already, then go to this timestamp. If all you really care about is my overall thoughts, and let's be honest, who doesn't, then go to this timestamp. All right, enough farting around already. We're gonna start by taking a look at what's in the box. In the box, you get your standard items like a power cord, power adapter, and a few cord guards. It also comes with a wall mounting kit in the form of this branch looking thing and a wall plate, and obviously the camera itself. Let's nerd out for a minute and talk about what comes inside the camera. The Lollipop has a 1/3 inch, 1.27 megapixel Sony IMX225 CMOS sensor, and it records video at 720p resolution and at 30 frames per second. Compared to the Miku monitor, which has a 1/4 inch, 5 megapixel sensor and streams video up to 1080p at 30 frames per second and has a field of view of 130 degrees. The reason I compare this to the Miku monitors because this starts at about $150. If you want to add on this sensor, it's another $50. And the Miku comes in at around $400. So you can see that there's quite a big difference in price, but the Miku has a lot of hardcore tech going on, where this is just more run-of-the-mill. Let's continue this nerd sesh with the night vision discussion. And because I only pretend to be a nerd sometimes, I'm gonna put these specs on the screen, because I'm not really sure what it exactly means. What I do understand is that this monitor has 2 different night vision infrared settings that switch on and off automatically depending on how far away or how close the monitor is to whatever it's looking at. So that's pretty neat, and you don't have to worry about it. It does it automatically. That concludes the nerd out sesh portion of this review. All right, let's move on to the features within the app. Connecting the monitor to the app is super easy, and the app comes with a nice array of features. One of them is that the Lollipop is able to tell the difference between ambient noise and crying, and you will also get an alert for each type of noise. You can configure the sensitivity of these noises through the app, so you're not overloaded with all kinds of alerts. It also has a nice array of white noise options. It can be integrated with Alexa. You also have the ability to see the data history. And to round it all off, you can set the privacy mode, which prevents video streams from recording to the cloud. If you're so inclined, you can catch live video and audio streams from the Lollipop website. This doubtfully will replace your Reddit or Twitter viewing, but if you want to actually feel good about wasting time at work, you now have a solid option for that. This monitor also has a continuous recording feature, which means you have access to a whole heck of a lot of empty crib footage. How much footage you have access to is based on what subscription package you buy. So let's talk about those packages real quick. You have 4 subscription plans. The base version gives you 7 days worth of event recording, intelligent alerts, snapshots, and custom activity zones. The advanced package is like the base option, except that you get 30 days worth of event recording. The premier package is like the advanced, except that you get 10 days worth of continuous recording, which means the feed is always on. You also have the ability to download that video. Now the elite version is the premier, but instead of the 10 days of continuous recording, you get 30 days of continuous recording. All right, let's talk about setup. The options for mounting this monitor are unique, and it's the only monitor that I'm aware of that comes with this bendy stem thing. So speaking of mounting, there are 5 mounting options. You can mount it on the crib rail using the cord guards. You've got the bond mount, which you use that plastic thingy to secure the bendy part to the crib rail, and that's all technical speak. You can also use the branch with the wall mount plate to mount it to the wall. You also have the ability to do a surface type mount where you just curl the stem around like so, easy peasy, fresh and squeezy, kinda. Definitely not my favorite option. The last option you have is called roll mount, and we will talk more about that in a minute. For me, the crib mounting option is not ideal, especially for older children. Calvin would eat this thing for breakfast if we had it mounted to the crib, so not an option for us. Now, wall mounting is ideal for newborns, but the setup only comes with 3 cord covers, so you'll want to mount it out of the reach of your baby, obviously. The surface mounting is available again, like I said, with manipulating the stem, but it doesn't ever seem that sturdy, especially after you've bent it around a few times. Now, this type of surface mounting will give you more options in terms of where you can place it, because you can manipulate the stem around different things. Like if I wanted to do a little bit of art deco, it's pretty cool, right? But you will lose some visibility into the crib, obviously, because you're losing that bird's eye view that you would get if you were to mount it on the wall, or even if you attached to the crib looking in. So for this monitor though, I would recommend investing in some sort of tablet stand, like you see here, and then utilizing the roll mount. So you just wrap the tail around what you've got yourself. There are bugs in here and it's gross. So all you have to do is just wrap the tail around the stand, and then you've got yourself a floor stand. Pretty sweet. So utilizing this DIY floor stand option will allow you to get the monitor close to the crib and also achieve that bird's eye view looking down into the crib while keeping the cord to safe distance from the crib. All right, now let's move on to the Lollipop sensor. There are a few functions that aren't built directly into the monitor, which are temperature, humidity, and air quality readings. If you want to be able to monitor those stats, then you will need to buy this, which is the Lollipop sensor. Connecting the sensor to the app is really easy, even after moving the sensor around to different spots, as I did in order to test the sensor in different locations. So I tested the sensor right under the monitor, and then about 6 feet from the monitor, and then about 15 feet from the monitor, and got the same readout every time. Not really sure what that means, other than that the Fathercraft studio seemed to be fairly well temperature and humidity controlled, so good for me, I guess. In 7 words, I was pleasantly surprised by this monitor. The video and audio quality was definitely not the best compared to other monitors, but it more than gets the job done. That said, for some reason I really enjoy the night vision with this monitor. It just looks super soft and dreamy. Bugs. I do wish the air quality monitoring was built into the camera, because I often check the air temp and humidity, and it's a bit of a hassle to have to buy a separate device in order to do that. But like I said, it's easy to move the sensor around and it connects to the monitor very quickly. The subscription packages are a bit pricey for me, especially with what's offered in each service. I simply don't need access to 30 days of continuous video recording. The Lollipop app does have a background audio feature, but it only works if your phone is connected to the same Wi-Fi as the monitor, which is a bit of a pain, especially if you're wanting to do some work outside or in your garage or wherever, and those areas happen to be outside your Wi-Fi range. There are, however, many things to like about this monitor. I do enjoy the mounting flexibility. The range of mounting options makes this an extremely adaptable monitor, meaning as your kid gets older, you can move this around to suit your monitoring needs. You can even utilize your own DIY stand to achieve the same floor stand experience you would get with the Nanit Plus and the Miku Baby Monitor. The app experience is super solid and provides a nice, clean, and straightforward experience. And it has many of the same features as their higher-end competitors. And on top of that, according to their website, they will be breaking into the realm of breathing monitoring in 2020, joining the likes of Miku, the Nanit Plus, Cocoon Cam, among others. All right, that'll do it. If you have any questions or want to know more, leave us a comment below. And as always, please subscribe and like, and maybe even turn on that notification bell. We would greatly appreciate it. Thanks everybody. We will see you in the next video.